Welcome to Quit to Win, a show where we explore the bold choice people make to leave behind what no longer serves them and step into greater, highest potential. The guest is Steve Barton, executive coach, creator of the Game of 10, framework that help high performing leaders dissolve fear, doubt, shame to achieve clarity, confidence, and align success. He brings over 30 years of real world business experience, having scaled his family retail floral business from $200,000 to $2 million in annual revenue. He represents his coaching process to the Harvard Business School case study team, and now help executive entrepreneurs, high achiever, operate from awareness instead of reactive pattern. The success without sacrificing peace of mind. It's really a pleasure and honor having you on the show, Steve.
Well, thank you very much, Benaya, and I appreciate you reaching out. It was a beautiful pitch that you sent, and I'm excited to talk about the game of 10 to help out myself, yes, you and your audience.
Yeah, thank you so much, Steve. So, Steve, at high level, can you share a pivotal moment where you realize that staying in your previous way of operating was no longer serving you?
Well, that happened a long time ago. 36 years old, and I realized that I went to therapy, and back 33 years ago, people didn't go to therapy. So I did. I talked to the therapist asked me, "Why are you here?" I said, "I have everything in the world that I want, and I'm not happy."
Mm.
So I said, "What can I expect? And how long is it going to take?" And he said, "Typically, I say 3 months, but you're halfway there," because I realized wasn't happy. So
Yeah.
he was right. It was about a month and a half, and he said I would get mental health, and I didn't even know what mental health was at the time. So I was happy. And it sounds like a wonderful thing, but when you change that drastically, the people around you don't know what to make of
Yeah.
this new person. Who are you? We like the old Steve better.
Yeah, so true. So, Steve, what specifically did you have to quit in order to create the life and leadership style you now have?
You have to quit being you have to quit being negative. You have to quit
Mm.
being uh, fear. You have to quit self-doubt. You have to quit guilt. You have to quit shame. And don't be a psychopath. Okay? So
Yeah.
you have to come from a place of kindness and loving intention. So
Mm.
there is a lot to give up, and you will lose a lot of people when you make this shift. And rather than grieve, you grieve the people you lose, but they're not going to see things the way you see them anymore.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so true.
you have to quit these
Yeah.
people. Well,
Yeah, so
they'll
true.
basically quit you.
Yeah, you have to quit fear, you have to quit shame, or self-doubt. Yeah, and actually embracing the fact that living from a peace and a whole lot of things. Amazing. So how did fear or self-doubt or guilt or shame or play into things you had to let go of?
It just crumbled. You have ego death. You've heard of the term ego death? The ego. So that's what it is. I don't know if it's intentional you do that, or some people have it when they have a nervous breakdown. Some people have it when they have a severe accident, and you basically crumbles your identity of who you think you are until you realize who you truly are. And
Hmm.
with this spiritual, energetic being, and there's not a lot of proof of that in the outside world, but there's a lot of truth of it in the inside world with how we feel about ourselves first, and then how we project ourselves onto others. So there's a lot of work that people say, I'm doing work on myself. And usually that is the place that people have to come from. And then you also hear, I do everything from the inside out. Well, the inside out has to be in alignment with the outside
Hmm.
in. So that's where a lot of self-help, personal development, therapy doesn't connect the two, because in the end, everything is one. And everything is
Yeah.
a ellipse of infinite ellipse of infinite infinity.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you so much. This is really amazing. Yes. You have to kind of make sure that the inside out is, yes, in alignment with the outside. That was really, really amazing and very profound. And I'm just trying to remember again now the fact that when you were already in your 30s, you have to visit the therapist, and actually more like laying a whole lot of stuff that you actually want to quit. That was really, really a whole lot. So now, how did you decide what is worth quitting versus what is worth preserving? True.
Can you repeat that for me, please?
Yeah. So going through all of it out, how do you now decide what is worth quitting versus what is worth preserving?
What's worth keeping, with
Yeah.
Well, not based on happy, healthy, healed and whole, gone, quit.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean people, I mean, I love everyone. Don't, some people I don't want to be around. And I think really it's about maintaining this healthy inner self, authentic self. And I think the key of is in these phrases I learned from Marianne Williamson, who was coaching me. And she, in the Course in Miracles, says sometimes love says yes, sometimes love says no, sometimes love says stay, sometimes love says go. So the stay and yes are just as important as the no and go. And know when you're welcome, know your audience, know your space, know your environment, know who supports you and know who doesn't. So,
Mm.
you have a lot of people that act like they support you, but behind your back, they don't. So, what comes when you play, kind of segue into the game of 10, when you are in 10, your intuition's pretty strong, very strong. And you start to feel in your gut, they're nice to be in front of me, but behind my back, and people will tell you, well, they say things behind your back. And I said, good, let them. But
Yeah.
I don't want to give my energy to those people.
Yeah.
I don't even confront them. I just fine, good.
Amazing. So you actually create the game of 10, a framework that actually help high performing leaders dissolve fear, self doubt, guilt, and shame. Can you actually put us all through it?
Okay, well, you have the game of 10, which is void of those four elements. Because when we have our ego is basically based in the game often played. So there's two games we're playing, and typically they weave in and out of us during daily life. And sometimes we're in ego state, sometimes we're in spirit state. But there's only one true state, and that is our authentic self, our energetic, spiritual state. So I oftentimes say we are intuitive, intentional, spiritual beings or energetic having a physical experience. So you always want to be in that alignment with your energy because that's where we're connected to everyone and everything. That's where we download ideas, turn them into thoughts. So you have to be void of the fear, self-doubt, guilt and shame to be in that state of awareness. Okay? And where does this fear, self-doubt, guilt and shame come from? It comes from our thoughts.
Mm.
We are programmed to be 80% negative, 20% positive, 80%.
Oh,
Yeah, that's a fact. It's called the negativity bias. So most people live day to day from their thoughts, and that's their identity. It's real to acknowledge and to be aware of. So awareness is the key. And the thoughts that come from our identity are here to keep us alive, to keep us in the tribe,
mm.
to keep us in the society, to keep us so people recognize who we are so we can do our daily work and jobs. And so it is a survival mechanism, but most people live in survival versus thriving. So it's really about thriving and success and abundance when not having our ego burden us with fear, self-doubt,
Yeah.
guilt, and
Yeah.
the
This
game.
is really amazing. Especially you make reference of the fact that a lot of people live out from their thoughts, and 80% of the thought is negative. Yeah, that just dawned on me that, ouch, that was really a whole lot.
Oh, I can even outdo that. We have 60,000 thoughts a day.
Hmm.
80% of those thoughts are from the past. 20% are from the present day. 80% of those are also negative.
Oh,
so, no, with those odds, you don't want to go to Las Vegas with those or casino. So, the key is to use your thoughts as a tool. Do not let your thoughts use you. You have thoughts, but you have to learn to let them go. And that is the whole concept of forgiveness. So, forgiveness is quitting. Quitting
yeah.
the thought. Forgiveness is quitting the thoughts that no longer serve you.
Yeah, this is really amazing. And the more you make reference of that particular point, I just remember a particular line from a book I read earlier on. It was, I think it's, yeah, The Alchemist by Paul Coelho.
Very good.
And why he was relating to the small boy, and the boy was telling him that, yes, I'm afraid. And I remember his reply was more of, tell your heart that the fear of suffering is greater than suffering, that no heart ever suffer in search of his destiny. So I'm like, how do you tell your heart that the fear of suffering is greater than suffering? And the more you just make reference of 80% of our thought is that of the negative. And so now you have to choose wisely what you live on, not allowing the thought being in control, but you actually being in control and actually more like choosing what and what to actually live.
Yeah, and then there's a paradox of like quitting to win. It's a paradox,
Yeah.
and it's also quit your thoughts to gain awareness. So you have
Mm.
to quit. You have to quit your thoughts, and that's the hardest thing because the Eckhart Tolle says the biggest addiction we have in this world is overthinking. So
Mm.
once you understand that I am not my thoughts, you are not your thoughts, we are not our thoughts, we are our awareness. And our awareness,
Oh,
yeah, we are our awareness. And that is our common sense. When you let go of your thoughts, you're aligned with the universal consciousness, the collective consciousness, the God consciousness. That's where you want to be in alignment with and work with and through and from. And it's easy but not easy, you know.
yeah.
It's simple easy because we have to let go of those. Let me put it this way: we're appointed 10 in the game of 10. Everyone is appointed 10. Clean sweat slate when we arrive here on planet Earth. Oh, we've always been here, but and we're appointed 10. And what happens in life, we get disappointed by a person, place, situation, system that disappoints us. And if we get stuck in that level of 9 through 1, and if we were severely beaten, traumatized, physically, mentally, spiritually, sexually, then a lot of times people get stuck in their traumas
Mm.
and they operate from that perspective and perception of their traumas. So they're operating, if you're going to be operating at a level of 3, then you're going to attract people who agree with you. And
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
attract that energy. So your belief system, so you first have an idea that's downloaded, then it's turned into a thought, then you have an emotion that gets attached to it. If that emotion is fear, self doubt, guilt, or shame, or all four, then you're going to be stuck in that perspective and you're going to find friends that attract that. You're going to find situations that keep happening and you'll say, why does this keep happening to me?
Mm. Wow. This is really, really powerful. The fact that, yeah, when you live out, the level of your awareness will determine what you live out. And the fact that if you are living in 3, which simply shows you are living out of trauma, you're living out of past or unhealthy pattern, and definitely you get to attract a whole lot of those people who are actually more like, I'll live out those particular patterns. It's really amazing. And I'm just trying to reason it again that, yes, it's really amazing.
Thank you. It's
Yeah.
pretty simple when you understand how it works, but a lot of people don't understand how it works. Use your thoughts, use your feelings, use your emotions. They're tools. Use your body. It's a tool to create. Here we are, as I said, we are here to, well, we're intentional, intuitive, spiritual beings having a physical experience. We're also here to recreate, to play, to have fun. And also the same word in English is recreate. Same
Yeah.
word, different pronunciation. We're here to recreate and recreate heaven on earth, okay? To
Yeah.
create in our environment, in our homes, in our families, in our social settings, in our work. They say if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. So
Yeah.
it's
We are
love.
not. Yeah, we are not our thoughts, our awareness. Yeah, amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. So looking back, has there been a decision you made to quit something that you later questioned or regretted?
No, I have no regrets. And this is for everybody. Never have any regrets. Everything
Mm.
brought you. You either learn from your mistakes or you recreate them, okay? Or you play with
Mm.
them.
Yeah.
You keep doing
Yeah.
them. And why do I keep doing this? Because you haven't let go of the person or situation that first created it. So no regrets, no guilt, no shame, no self doubt, and no fear. And be loving. Come from a
Mm.
loving place because you can use this information for coming from it. I don't think you can be 10 and come from an evil place. You maybe get to a 9, maybe that, but you can never be 10 and be you would have to be coming from that operating system of fear. And then from fear people do pretty horrific things.
Yeah. Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. So can you share a story where quitting something actually opened door or to a bigger opportunity you didn't anticipate?
To be successful, you have to quit fear. Okay, so quit fear. Quit being afraid. Quit caring about what people think of you. Quit caring about what people tell you will and will not work.
Mm.
Quit listening to everyone except yourself in your heart and your mind and your spirit and your gut. Quit thinking about the hardest thing to be your authentic self. It is the hardest thing to be your authentic self because everyone wants you to be just like they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone wants it to be just like they are. And I think I'm glad that we're having this conversation at this point in time, being that social media has actually come into being and a whole lot of person does not get to look inward again. So actually more like being able to be aware of who they are so that they could actually live out from it. And it's really amazing that we're having this conversation. I want to say a very big thank
I'm glad, and I really enjoyed talking to you and sharing this information with people. It's so important to just be yourself, and it is, as I said, it's the hardest thing to do. And with social media, comparing yourself to others is quit that. Quit comparing
you. Yeah.
yourself to other people because you are uniquely you. You are your own 10. We are interdependent with people. Stephen Covey, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Yeah.
We're not independent, we are interdependent. And I think a lot have to understand that we are connected to everybody. And when we are aligned, it's common sense. The sixth sense, I believe, is our intuition and it's common sense. And if you look around, not a lot of common sense in the world today.
Yeah.
It's usually
Yeah.
driven by power, control, and profit, or power and control, and
Yeah.
in relationships. And it's really about surrendering all that so that you can be authentically you. So quit trying to control, quit trying to have power
Mm.
over situations and people. Quit that. And the paradox is, or I don't even like the word paradox because it's intuitive.
Yeah.
Paradoxical they're intuitive. Let go and you have everything.
This has really been amazing now, Steve. I must say a very big thank you for sharing a whole lot of insights, starting from more like having to go through a whole lot of stuff where you have to face the therapist to say, yeah, it the fact that after that particular point, yeah, you were aware of a whole lot of stuff and being able to quit fear, being able to quit shame, being able to quit a whole lot of stuff right now. It's really amazing and thank you for the whole lot of insight. So Steve, for my audience who would love to reach out to you, either to explore or some practical step you have actually aligned or to follow you to consume more of your contents or to actually more like reach out for coaching sections. How can they reach out to you and where is the best platform?
You can reach out to me on my website, www.stevebarton, Barton, coaching.com. On LinkedIn, primarily, that's where I'm typically coaching entrepreneurs, business owners, relationships. I kind of have I have a wide range
Yeah.
of,
Yeah.
but I focus on, with my background in business, my financial advising. I had that license at one time, and I just love business and helping business because that's where the action is.
Yeah.
With really,
Decisions.
my God, with fear, self doubt. You have imposter syndrome. You have everyone telling you you should run your business, and so it's really a great dynamic for me to be involved with to help entrepreneurs really reach their goals. And you have to quit, quit
Yeah.
being afraid.
Yeah.
Quit being
Yeah.
afraid. Indeed, how's that? Quit being afraid to be the very best that you are. You always have been 10. I can share I don't know how much time we have, but I can share
Yeah.
just,
You can.
all right. Repeat after me.
Yeah.
When I am 10,
I am 10,
I'm doing the best that I can with the awareness that I have.
doing the best that I can with the awareness that I have.
I'm always right with the awareness that I have.
I'm always right with the awareness that I have.
I am enough.
I am enough,
I do enough.
doing enough,
I have enough.
have enough.
Those 6 phrases shut off. Shut off that ego telling you
Yeah.
all the things you're not. Shuts it off. And it also allows the past to come up. So
Mm.
always when the stuff that comes up from the past, the thoughts, the traumas, the disappointments, you have to do your way of
Mm.
forgiving. Whether you do it however your spiritual practice is. I often tell people to create a temple in their mind
Mm.
and to put an altar on that in that temple, and any thoughts, feelings, and emotions that are painful, hurtful, put them on that altar and give it to your 10, because you can't forgive at the level you were hurt at. If someone hurts
Mm.
you
Yeah.
can't. Einstein says you can't solve a problem at the level it was created.
Yeah.
Yeah, so people who try to forgive a person that hurt them and they still feel hurt, it doesn't work. It has to be given to your highest self, which is in the game of 10, it's 10. It's the God within us, the spirit within us, the light within us, whatever you want to call it. And you have to give it to that. That's its job.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you so much for the sixth step. And it's really amazing. Yeah, we are not our thoughts, we are our awareness. Yeah, thank you so much, Steve. Your journey just shows that quitting is not about giving up, it's about clearing space for clarity, confidence, and meaningful success. For anyone who wants to learn more about how dissolving fear, doubt, guilt, and shame, apply the principle of game 10. Yeah, definitely check the show notes. You definitely see the link where you could actually reach out to Steve. Yeah, once again, it's a pleasure and honor have you on the show, Steve.
Much. It was very a pleasure, and I'll be seeing you soon. Thank you.